We refused to chip in for a Gucci bag gift, and my friend got furious.
Poor alert, poor.
That's, to be clear, everyone, we're referencing SpongeBob, where they go bald. I, 29 female, and my husband, 35 male, are part of a close group of friends. We're all in our late 20s and to mid 30s. Most of us are married or in serious relationships, and we usually celebrate birthdays together. The usual setup has always been that the birthday person hosts and pays for everyone. By the way, this comes from user Clarazin, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. But about a year ago, this weird new tradition started. For each birthday, someone opens a WhatsApp group and says, let's all chip in for this really expensive gift. We're talking about things like Hermes flip-flops, Formula One tickets, Gucci bags. It's all very public and a bit uncomfortable to say no. My husband and I have always gone along with it, even though it's felt a bit much at times. For example, we paid around 300 euros towards a 1,500 euro F1 ticket for my husband's best friend, Tom. At this time, it felt okay. But now, things are different. We're already parents to one child. We're trying for a second, and we just opened a new business, which we fully funded from our own savings. Everyone in the group knows this, including Tom. We're doing fine financially, but we're definitely being more careful. These expensive group gifts are not something we feel comfortable doing anymore. A few weeks ago, it was my husband's birthday. One of the friends asked if I was going to open a WhatsApp group for a gift, and I said no. My husband didn't want anything. We hosted everyone for a pool party, paid for everything ourselves, and we're happy to do it. For the record, Tom gave my husband a nice bottle of tequila worth around 100 euros. We appreciated it. I'm not complaining at all. I've never judged or compared gifts, and I've been genuinely grateful for every single one, no matter the price. 2 weeks later, it was Tom's girlfriend's birthday. He opened a group chat and said he would like a Gucci bag. I told my husband I didn't want to participate in this one, and he agreed. We didn't reply in the group, but we bought her a 120 euro massage voucher as a gift. Her birthday was held at a really fancy and expensive beach restaurant. We went, enjoyed the event, had fun, made sure the birthday girl had a blast. A few days later, Tom wrote in the group that the bill was 3,000 euros and said that if anyone would like to contribute, they could. I told my husband I didn't want to chip in. We didn't choose the place. We gave her a gift, and again, we're being more mindful about money right now. He obviously agreed with me. Then Tom messaged my husband privately and said he expected us to help with the dinner bill since we didn't join in on the group gift. He said our 100 euro gift wasn't enough, brought up the fact that we had always participated before, including for his Formula One ticket, and said we were being clowns for not pitching in all this time. I honestly don't understand it. I've never once complained about the gifts we've got. I've always been thankful. But suddenly we're being labeled as rude just because we made a different choice this time based on our current situation. And we have a little mini update from the comments section here. But like, before we get into it, where are we going, Angie? I know we're summoning fireballs.
If we can't do that, physically unable, then get a flamethrower.
Okay.
You can get that like on Amazon, right?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Just as a stress release.
Yeah.
Into open space, you use the flamethrower.
Uh-huh.
Into
That's
open
exactly
space.
What I was intending.
Completely open space with no one else there.
For sure.
We have an update, and it's a hilarious one, apparently. We've been trying to figure out who keeps logging into our TV streaming services. We live in Europe, and the streaming service is to watch TV from our home country. We pay about 280 euros a year for it and can only use it on 2 devices at once. We kept being logged out of our living room TV. It turns out Tom was using it since my husband logged in at his house a year ago. And there's some comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole. Serving you with a bill after the fact without informing you before the event that this would be expected is not a fair, friendly move. If Tom wants to buy expensive Gucci bags to his girlfriend and plan $3,000 dinners, that's great, but he can't expect the same level of chipping in from everyone else. It's his girlfriend, not everyone's. If Tom was a good friend, he wouldn't have stepped on multiple boundaries and called you clowns for not paying for his ideas. And a reply here says, it sounds like Tom overestimated his means when it came to this birthday and is now attempting to recover costs. Crowdfunding both the dinner and the gift is nasty business. Not to be misunderstood, because I'm not saying the lady doesn't deserve to be celebrated on her birthday. They're more than welcome to discuss beforehand with their friends what they wish for, so everyone can consider their affordability. Splurging $3,000 on a dinner and then hitting your guests with the bill after is wild. The Gucci bag probably brings this birthday to 5,000 euros. That is serious money. Second year in uni, my friend had a very horrible year. Muggings, bad relationships, and losing a part-time job. Before this year, she'd been saving to throw herself a 25th birthday as a weekend getaway for all of us. But it just wasn't possible with all that happened. As her friends, we took the initiative to plan a weekend away for her. Contributions were not equal, but everyone did what they could to make it special. And that is still one of my favorite weekends away I've ever done. Comment number 2. Got me wondering if Tom started this tradition and whether his girlfriend is part of the WhatsApp group. Because like you, I would be very embarrassed that my man had to crowdfund my birthday gift from his friends. OP says Tom's girlfriend is actually the one that started the whole thing with his F1 ticket. Reply. What were the gifts they got you guys during this whole gift crowdfunding expedition, not including the Alchemicol? Because if the price of the things they got for the both of you doesn't match anywhere near the price of any of the gifts you've gotten for them, it looks very shifty, and I'm going to believe they're tossing you crumbs in return for pricier stuff. OP says nothing, to be honest. It started in January. My husband's birthday is in July and mine is in November. Reply. So the only crowd-funded gifts have been Tom and his girlfriends? And now there's an update.
It's a great question. Now I'm thinking fireball in one hand, ice ball in another. Boom, boom, heat him up. Boom, freeze him. Boom, heat him up. Boom, 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 boom. And then their body can't handle that, change in temperature. And they just
Yo, do the
crumble.
Godzilla -1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's
Go watch
how
that
we,
movie, folks.
That's how we now are dealing with this situation.
I low-key wonder how Tom would react if you just, because I don't know, I guess maybe Tom is a little upper, is Tom upper tax bracket? He could be. I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe he's not. Maybe it's all an illusion. But if you hit Tom with the what are you, broke?
Yeah.
What are you, broke?
Dude.
Huh? What are you, broke? I mean, I'll help you out if you're a little broke boy, boy.
Honestly, do that. If you're already planning on not being friends with him and any of these people again, go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? You're already going to walk away from them.
Yeah.
Also,
it's
change your
weird.
password on your thing, on your subscription.
Yeah. It's crazy, too, that he's like, well, you did it the last time when it was my F1 ticket that I really liked.
Yeah, it's like,
why won't you do this for my girlfriend?
Because that was a special thing. I can't just be giving away F1 tickets all the time.
Dude, there's no
Goodness
way
gracious.
it's going to be the same energy when it's OP's birthday and when it's her husband's birthday.
They got a 100 euro thing. It's not.
Update! After reading the comments, my husband and I realized we hadn't been as clear with our friend group as we should have been. So we wrote a respectful message in our group chat with everyone. Hi guys, first of all, we love you all. Just wanted to say we're no longer participating in the group gift tradition. With our growing family and the new business, we're trying to be more mindful with our money. We'll always celebrate you in our own way. Thank you for understanding. Most people responded kindly and said they completely understood. Then one couple reached out to us privately and told us they're currently going through IVF. They said they've been feeling very uncomfortable with the pressure of the group gift tradition, but didn't want anyone to know what they were going through. They were afraid that if they opted out, people would ask questions, and they were really relieved we spoke up. We also spoke to everyone else individually. Aside from Tom, his girlfriend, and one other couple, everyone was glad to stop the expensive gift tradition. That one other couple preferred the group gifts because they found them more convenient, but they weren't upset at all and didn't cause any drama. They just said they'll go along with whatever the group decides. Tom and his girlfriend, though, didn't take it so well. Yesterday, Tom texted my husband saying our message in the group chat felt passive-aggressive and like we were throwing shade at him. His girlfriend messaged me and said we should have just told her privately that we don't have the money instead of announcing it in front of everyone. She was upset that now the tradition was over. The tradition where you get expensive stuff for free.
You shouldn't have brought up that these group gifts are too expensive. Now you gave everyone else the idea. It's like when you're watching over kids. You can't say who needs to go to the bathroom because then everyone is going to need to go to the bathroom.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep it light and said, no problem. My birthday's coming up and I want a trip to Thailand for my whole family. she didn't respond. To make sure there were no hard feelings, we also sent Tom 200 euros to cover our share of the food and drinks from his girlfriend's birthday dinner. Then today, we spoke with them again, and things got even more frustrating. They told us that our decision not to do any group gift or any gift at all for my husband's birthday came off as condescending and inconsiderate, as if we were better than them for not wanting gifts. Apparently, setting this straight made life harder for everyone. That was never our intention. We just genuinely didn't want anything, and we're happy to host and celebrate without gifts. And by the way, you'll never be without more episodes with stories just like this on your podcast platform of choice. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can listen to our entire catalog of episodes. Bam!
Yup.
Yeah, there's a little bit more here. Group chat politics. Grr. How frustrating.
This is how I feel about group chat politics.
I mean, it really feels like everyone is on the exact same page except Tom and his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so obviously stupid. They brought it up and they're just like, hey guys, like, this is a lot. And then everyone was like, yeah, it's a lot. We got like lives to pay for and children to pay for. And then they're like, what? You're not going to give us expensive gifts anymore? What? Wait, you think you're better than us because you won't give us expensive... What? Guys, boot them. Boot them out of here. Boot them out of the group chat. Boot them out of the friend group. Frick them. Frick these people. Frick their F1 ticket having butts. Frick them and their $3,000 dinner reservations. Frick you. Frick all of you guys. Fireball. All right? God.
Angie has spoken. Y'all getting fricked.
Yeah. My gosh.
Kamehameha. As a group, we've now all agreed to go back to the old tradition. The birthday person hosts everyone. When we were younger, that usually meant breakfast, lunch, or dinner at home, nothing over the top. It felt more personal and less stressful, and everyone seems happier going back to that. Lastly, my husband and I have decided to take a step back from Tom. This whole situation made it clear that a lot of people in the group feel like they can't say anything around him without him getting offended. We're not angry, we're just tired. We want to enjoy our friendships without walking on eggshells. Thanks again to everyone who commented on the original post. You helped us see that we weren't crazy for feeling the way we did. In the end, we think this reset was needed for us and for the group. And just FYI, we're a group of 5 couples.
Yeah.
That is the end of that story.
My best friend sabotaged my relationship while we were living under the same roof.
That's gonna make it weird around breakfast time.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. This is one of our own.
Oh.
I grew up in foster care and was privy to restarting my life consistently. I had gotten out of a relationship which left me alone and lost. He cut me off from most of my friends, but due to moving schools all the time in high school, I didn't have many to begin with. My soon best friend, we will call Jackie, 32 female, and her husband Keller, 42 male, I, 21 female, had met her a few years back when I was 19 or 20. We had met when I was selling the devil's lettuce and other related concentrates, pretty much worked in a gray market dispensary before legalization, with her little sister Kelly, 25 female. By the way, this comes from BusyChance8549, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Jackie started hanging out around early 2017, mostly stopping by to borrow products, which she always paid back. We didn't talk much unless she needed something or asked me to visit the shop. I was closer to her sister Kelly and often spent weekends with her and her son. At the time, I worked 2 jobs. My main one was a Monday through Friday supervisor role at a fast food place, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., Jackie had been a supervisor elsewhere too, and by 2019 we grew closer. She'd drop by once a week, and we'd talk all about her husband and 2 kids, an older girl and a younger boy about 8 years apart. From what she shared, their relationship seemed decent, but they struggled financially since her husband kept losing jobs. 3 that year alone. Meanwhile, my life felt stuck in a rut, and Kelly had gotten into a relationship and pulled away. I was happy for her, but I felt lonely. Then I got an offer to travel across the country for work with just 7 days to decide. Keller wasn't working, and Jackie's family relied on government assistance. I asked my boss, John, if I could go. He hesitated since good staff were hard to find. I mentioned Jackie was looking for a job, and though they barely knew each other, he agreed. figuring she could fill my spot so I could travel. Looking back, maybe that was my mistake, but at the time, I felt free. I traveled for 2 months, then took another 3-month trip to Africa. I drained my savings, but didn't care. I was only 20 and had finally left my hometown, a place so bleak its slogan is, "Welcome to blank. When you were born here, what's your excuse?" My mom always told me I'd never leave, so getting out felt like finally escaping that trap. When I got back, I needed a job. I still had some money, but my wallet took a few hits. Second mistake was going back to the place that I had just sent her, but I didn't know that. She had worked there for about 6 months or so at this point, but wasn't yet a supervisor. I talked to my old boss, John, and he was glad to have me back, waiting to give me my 7 to 3 shift. But Jackie, who has kids, wasn't keen on moving to evenings or nights, which I understood. Because of a clash with the evening supervisor, I was asked to cover overnights instead. I started as a regular staff since I had been gone for so long, but John knew my worth and didn't lowball my pay. Things were going okay at first. I got along with most of the staff, though many didn't like Jackie, calling her a witch. Even though our shift overlapped, she'd often show up late, upset, or high. We could say that. She would storm out for smoke breaks during busy times, snap at coworkers, and complain about not getting promoted. But since she was never like that with me, I brushed it off. The night shift was tough. I was the only woman and the crew was standoffish. My main extra task as overnight supervisor was handling inventory and deliveries, which John said was all I needed to move up. But the crew refused to speak English unless talking to customers, which made it hard. I warned them and finally brought it up to John. After that, they resented me even more. About 3 months in, I started having scary health episodes at work. Zoning out, confused, unresponsive. I warned my coworkers in case it happened again so I could get help. And then it did happen. While taking an order, I froze. The overnight supervisor grabbed me, shook me, and clapped in my face, yelling, "Wake the heck up!" I yelled back and almost broke down crying. It was 3 a.m., and though I wanted to leave, the other coworker, who had a visa hour limits, refused to stay. I felt trapped and scared. Later, the supervisor claimed that he thought I was sleeping, but I reminded him that I had warned him about my health issue. I stayed until morning, texting Jackie to please come early so I could leave, planning to ask John to approve her extra hours. And to my surprise, she answered. She was up late arguing with her husband and came in just after 5:30 so I could go deal with issues. I know I should have just gone to the hospital after the incident. Later, the doctor said that it looked like I had a mini stroke and warned me to avoid stress. But work was nothing but stress.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, this is insane, man.
You really can't work anywhere that isn't stressful, right? Is there a job that isn't stressful?
No.
Well, I was about to say like a pound where you get to hang out with dogs all the time.
But there's definitely stressful days, I'm sure. I'd go in every day worried about the new complaints or extra tasks. Jackie told my boss why she came in early, and he texted to ask if I was okay. I told him I wasn't. He asked me to come to a meeting the next day at 7 a.m. and take the night off. At the meeting, I said I couldn't keep working with that crew anymore. After 8 months of stress, even though I got my supervisor title back, I asked for more time off to deal with my health. Jackie objected, saying that I was leaving her again, but John agreed. I went to Europe for 2 months to stay with friends. When I got back, John told me he'd fired most of the overnight crew. Only one guy stayed on part-time, and he'd moved Jackie to overnights. She hated this. According to her, it was some kind of punishment to separate her from interacting with a few staff members she had caused issues with. Then John introduced me to my new underling, we'll call Leon, 23 male. Now, this man should not be working fast food. He looked like a construction worker, strong and built and really funny. He worked evenings and overnights and lived close by. It wasn't long until him and me would be flirting and bringing me little gifts on the nights that he knew I'd be working. I'm not sure why, but Jackie didn't seem too fond of my friendship with him, but she did like him. She seemed frustrated that he would stop by work, bringing me treats, and sit outside on my breaks, but honestly, I loved how attentive he was to me. A few months later, Leon and I were dating, and 8 months after that, I had gotten pregnant. During the time we were dating, I tried warming up Jackie to the idea of me being in a relationship, but she wasn't sure he was the one for me. Whatever. But eventually, she relaxed on that. I'd bring him over to her place, and we'd all hang out with her kids, and he would hang out with Keller, her husband of almost 10 years at this point. Leon and him would play video games, and we'd talk makeup and work drama and hang out with her kids. Leon seemed reluctant to go over to their place and even sometimes expressed concern in me going over there alone, as I would babysit for them on occasion as well. When we talked more about this, it's because of the area she lived in and that they were not the cleanest of people, which in all fairness was the worst part of the city. While babysitting, I've heard pew pew shots, and there were unhoused people who tent by the garbage cans just below her window who were often loud. I honestly felt really bad for her and her children, 8 female and 3 male. Leon and I had discussed moving in once I got pregnant, and I agreed. As we were looking at places, Jackie kept telling me how nice it would be if she could move into some of the apartments we were looking at, but her and her husband had a really tough fixed income, and their youngest was displaying signs of extreme ASD. And as it was the start of the vid, she didn't know what supports would come in and when. She kept telling me how lucky I was that we were always in a nice area and how our kids had to grow up poor and in fear. Now, I grew up poor. My mom had kids and we all went off to foster care pretty early on, but being the second oldest and being about the same age as her daughter in that hard time, it broke my heart. I asked Leon if we could maybe look into a house, and that way all of us could look for a better place and move our friends to a better area. He was reluctant, but I was determined that he'd change his mind, and eventually he did. We found a perfect 4-bedroom house where we were going to evenly split rent between the adults in the house. I was on maternity leave, and Leo had left work for a more suiting job, albeit he didn't get one until after the baby was born. Things were starting to look up for everyone, or so I thought. Jackie and Keller would fight almost every day. They both quit their jobs and were under huge amounts of stress, doors slamming and yelling consistently. Why did they quit their jobs? What was that for?
Because OP's going to take care of them. OP and Leon's going to take care of them. You know that, right? That's why they moved out.
But they were all going to...
Yeah, whenever we moved in together, I'm going to quit this. You're going to take care of me.
But why? I cannot do that. I cannot afford...
I got a lot of video games to catch up on.
Oh, yeah?
How do people's brains work like that? I don't understand.
It's wild, man. It's wild. Why?
That was a triple chin.
The only time she wasn't mad was when she was smoking devil's lettuce, which even though we had requested that be done outside or at least in the basement as I was having a baby in about 5 months at this point. That's when Leon bought his new TV and decided that the basement was going to be a man cave, which I had no problem with, and I thought it was kind of cute. Jackie got ecstatic about this for some reason and started moving some of her furniture into the basement and even bought a futon for the space. Okay, maybe she wanted to hang out there too. I figured that would at least keep her from smoking on the second floor where her kids slept. Leon grew kind of distant after we moved in and would spend all his time on his PS4 or watching movies in the basement, and this is kind of when things got weird. When I was 7 months pregnant, Leon got on a war movie stint, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but would still watch them if he wanted. I was having problems sitting downstairs with them because the futon was often taken up by Jackie, Keller, and Leon. I would sit on a folding chair nearby or some other chair that would make my back hurt. She's pregnant. This is a pregnant woman, and they're going to sit here taking up this futon, letting this pregnant woman sit on a folding chair. That's crazy talk.
Well, they bought the futon. She could buy her own.
Frick that, man. She bought the house. Yeah.
That is true. They did get a house.
Exactly. My goodness. I had expressed that I kind of wanted to sit with them or, have people move elsewhere because I was pregnant. Jackie had said something along the lines of, the futon is just as low as you should... Wait. The futon is just as low. You should just go lie in bed. Over the next month, she and Leon were adamant that I went upstairs and rested. I had caught them a few times where she had asked Leon for a foot massage, and he obliged.
Dude, I knew this was going to happen. She likes Leon. Jackie likes Leon, and she doesn't know what to do. And then that's why she was mad at OP. And then ever since Leon went to the basement...
Crazy! Because of the title, I was thinking like, it was like, OP's husband is safe, and OP's husband is like, or boyfriend at the time is like, not going to be interested in Jackie, and Jackie's going to be like trying to make these moves and stuff.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it looks like, Alexia says worst pregnancy of my life. I am so sorry. That sounds absolutely awful. This is what, poo.
A foot massage?
Fireball.
Ew.
Yeah. My goodness, that is what all of these people deserve. Holy crap. I thought this was weird, and he maybe should have asked me first, but she was always complaining about pain, and I figured maybe since her and Keller were fighting, he refused or something. But the thing is, Leon never rubbed my feet. I'm not the one who likes my feet touched, but honestly was a little hurt that he never offered me one. She often complained about sciatica pain and other pains she had from giving birth and such, so I figured he maybe sympathized with her being so open about her pain. Then, into my birth, baby boy came on time, no complications in May 2021. Being in the hospital almost felt like a vacation from chaos at home. That sucks. Nothing could prepare me for what would happen when we got home. The house was a mess. I guess at this point, the realization that I did far more chores in the house struck me. I felt disgusted and immediately brought the baby to the only safe place in the house. My room is on the second floor, but since Leo was no longer in the basement, she was back to smoking the devil's lettuce in her bedroom. I felt like a captive in my own home. All I could hear was arguing and screaming, and the house stunk. I wasn't doing chores, and Leo was doing everything he could to spend all his time doting on me when he wasn't playing Call of Duty in the basement. This struck a nerve with Jackie, as she admitted that this was the reason that she divorced her husband. Oh, whoa. They divorced.
But I think he still lives there. Right?
Unless this was like an ex-husband?
Well, we've got Alexia in the chat.
Yeah,
which
Alexia,
is great.
let us know. Because she did mention that there's still fighting in the house, like yelling and fighting going on. So, I would love for that insight. Her husband and 2 kids.
Yeah,
okay,
so I guess he's still in there. Or she may be
it's probably
divorcing.
like an ex-husband, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. She was jealous of all the care that I was getting that she didn't get in her relationship. Through all this, I was still super supportive of her in her divorce and wanted to help her in whatever way I could. A few months passed and her ex moved out of our basement and into an apartment close by so he could still see the kids. And the youngest eventually moved in with him as he was too much for Jackie to handle. Things at this point were a little rocky all around. Leon saw an opening with the spare room and got a bed put in there and started sleeping apart from me. When he was home, he and Jackie would be in his room while he gamed, and she did her hobby, crocheting, sitting behind him. This went on for a while. When I confronted her about it, she said that I just like sitting near him. His voice is just so calming. He's playing Call of Duty. He's like, guys, get down, guys, no, let's go this way, go.
He's coming on my left.
Yeah, he's.
We're about to come in and out. We got to get in and out real quick. In and out. Breaching. Oh my God, he just flashed me, guys. He's flashed me. That's what you say, right? That's what you say when you play video games, right,
Never.
Dakota?
What games are you playing?
I'm playing Call of Duty.
I found this reply annoying, as how could my boyfriend yelling partially racial slurs at a video game? But whatever. Tried to let it go, but she spent months sitting behind him while he gamed, crocheting him a king-size blanket with one of his favorite streamers, Dr. Disrespect.
Oh my gosh, not Dr. Disrespect. Is he clear from that, Dakota?
I don't think so, buddy.
Okay, so Dr. Disrespect.
I'm so mad I can't say the 2-time anymore.
He like got caught.
He got caught with some padiddling allegations.
Yeah, messaging.
First of all, he had already cheated on his wife before, and then they moved through that and got over it, and then it got exposed that he was like in communications with an underage individual. Apparently nothing came of it, but still, in and of itself is horrific.
That's crazy.
So the fact that that's his favorite streamer.
That is so wild.
He was a cool guy whenever I saw him, and then that came out. I was like, oh, no, you never know.
It's even worse when you realize he's like built and 6'10" and could realistically kind of just like, if he wanted, I'm not saying you should cheat on your wife. I'm saying if he wanted to cheat on his wife, he could cheat on his wife with basically anyone. And he's like talking to a minor. It's insane.
I don't know this guy. I've never heard of that, and I knew that that's where it was going.
Yeah.
That's just that's just what's in the air, apparently.
Yikes.
I swear she did this just to piss me off because she knew how cringy I found him and the fact that my boyfriend watched content like that unironically. When my baby was 8 months old, everything came crashing down. My boyfriend was growing distant for months, and the only advice Jackie had was to stop nagging him so much. And I should be lucky to have such a good man. I saw this as maybe resentment for me being in a relationship and her being alone, but since we moved in, I was sure that she could see that Leon and I were not thriving here. She started to be cold, and I just retreated to doing what I did best at the time, losing myself and my identity to being a mother. I was initially excited, but all this stress had taken a lot of joy out of my life. I started talking to some old friends I lost touch with during the relationship. We started talking on FaceTime once in a while, but not overly. But because a lot of them were male, my boyfriend got jealous and said that I was looking for the wrong kind of attention. That's when I started seeing some weird posts on her Snapchat story. It was kind of broken up, and later on I realized it was because she tried blocking me from seeing her story that day. Just that day is scary. It started off with her saying, I will never see how a man can get upset with his girlfriend talking to other guys when he can give me a sensual massage and never tell her. Oh my God!
Sensual massage? Is that what feet massage are?
You know, like
Right?
sensual is like schmeckshy and like romantic and
Kind of like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
like
No
So
way.
it's not even, so it could be, so obviously since he did tell her about
Ew.
the foot massage, this is something that he didn't tell her about.
That's why they're always in the basement, always crocheting blankets so they can
Or
do
in
things
her
under the
room.
blankets.
Or she's in his room. That's why he's sleeping in another room. That's why he put a bed in another room and is sleeping there.
Dog.
Alexia, just know that everyone on this stream and in the chat right now has so much anger for you.
wait,
Like, not against you, but like on your behalf.
Yeah, on your behalf. Yep.
Yeah.
no,
Uh,
it's not doing the thing.
You
are
just
you
gotta.
trying to do?
I'm
It's
trying
okay.
to rocket frog.
It's okay.
That's just
Rocket
just
Frog,
know
this
that.
guy. Yeah. There was more, but that was the gist of it from what I saw before it all disappeared. I was shocked and upset and called Leon and asked if he could see it, and he did. I was straight up and asking what she was talking about, and he said he wasn't sure and had no idea what that could be about, but agreed that she was talking about us. I don't believe him. As she was still in the house, I decided that I wasn't letting my anxiety get the best of me and I would confront her. Good. But with what I had, which was still the half-deleted text. She got upset with me and said that it was taken out of context, but it took hours, and Leon came home before the whole story came out. While I was pregnant and her and my boyfriend spent a lot of time alone, she started to get feelings for him. She didn't know how to feel, but she said that she knew it was wrong because she still had a husband. She mentioned how he was always thoughtful and offering her foot massages and gave her good advice when her and her ex fought, how he would watch movies and sit on the couch for hours. Like, I'm sure that meant to be like, you know, watch movies with me and like sit on the couch with me for hours, but just seeing that, just watching the movies and on the couch for hours and being like, oh, he's so
gosh.
dreamy. It's crazy.
Why? This guy had such a good start. What happened?
He was on a great roll at first.
Oh, gross.
But then one night, things went too far. She was complaining about her sciatica pain, something she often did, and Leon had offered a massage. She said she felt awkward at first, but then she got really into it, and it started becoming sensual. After that night, she distanced herself, apparently feeling guilty about things, and when I had my son, that's when she lost it. She saw how much I was needy and hormonal and figured the relationship between me and my boyfriend wouldn't last. She then left her husband feeling like she had a chance with Leon. The next months, she fed me poor advice on dealing with him, hoping the relationship would end naturally. All the while, in that time, she had slept with 4 different guys that she had coming over to the house and was also ditching me and Leon to watch her kids while she hooked back up with the ex-husband. Girl!
Dude.
Girl! Everyone put fire in the chat because fireballs is what this woman deserves.
She deserves to go to
We're
That's what Angie
all
said, basically
conjuring
saying.
fireballs going.
Oh my gosh.
That is crazy. I was in shock. All of the trust issues I had, she knew and exploited. If she was really my friend and my boyfriend made a move on her while I was pregnant, why wait 10 months to say anything? If she was my friend, that's something she would have admitted right away. Leon says that the message was never what she made it to be, and that I also agreed to let him give her a massage while she was complaining. He's his own bouquet of red flags. It's no surprise that relationship didn't last. But after that, I asked her to move out and that I needed space from the friendship to think things through. I didn't cut her off completely because at that time, me and her daughter, who was almost 10, were getting pretty close, and she always liked me and was sad that I, quote, made them move out. But I eventually just stopped messaging her back. By the way, I hope you never stop listening to full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. You can't ever stop because we always have so much more for you.
Alexia, question. Why were you still her friend?
Well,
What?
It just said, but it sounds like they stopped being friends eventually.
The second I heard about the sensual massages. Rappity
Done.
dap dap. Can't be
Done.
my friend anymore.
Done.
You're leaving the house.
Yeah. It does sound like she was on the same page as that, though.
Yeah.
She was like,
Well,
"No,
she
I'm
probably
confronting her
is.
right now. Talking to her right now. Not wasting any
Yeah.
time. Good for you, man. Not just sitting in your anxiety and
Yeah, that's
and
good.
anger.
You're making moves out, and then I
Dang,
really
man.
feel like this friend guilted you. My husband, I was jealous of my husband because of you. I live in a really bad spot, and then basically kind of shamed OP
Yeah.
this whole time,
Yeah.
so she could, help her out.
Yeah, and that line of being like, "Oh, when you got back to the hospital, I saw how needy you were and how much like attention you took from him or whatever." When she literally just had a whole baby. It's like, I'm sorry, I just made a whole human. I made a whole human what she needs to be. She had eventually reached out with a crappy apology saying, "I'm sorry for anything I did to hurt you in the past year." When I saw she had sent Leon the exact text, I decided to not really accept, but ask her what she was sorry for exactly. She never answered, and later that month, I saw Keller out with the kids and asked them how they've been. The oldest told me that their mom doesn't want to speak with me because of how I sleep around. Keep in mind, she told this to a maybe 11-year-old while she herself is now in an open relationship with my sister's ex-boyfriend. That's a whole nother story in itself. She's telling this 11-year-old that
Imagine
this
telling
woman
Ryder this.
sleeps around. No. I can't. That's too young. Too small.
I wonder if he would understand.
He'd probably be like, "Is she tired?"
Yeah, right? Like, what? Is she just lazy? Or like,
She's always like,
Needs
she's
an
sleeping
alarm
right now.
clock?
You
Like,
could eat spinach.
is that why she doesn't go outside?
that's crazy, man. That's
Dude,
crazy.
Why does she have so much hate for you?
Oh my gosh. That is
Alexia,
so
where
wild.
do you live? What area do you live? And where can we find these people?
Yeah. I dated with 2 people in 2 years after me and my ex broke up. Not sure if she knew that, but it definitely didn't constitute as sleeping around. I'm happy with my new boyfriend now and far away from any of her drama. I have a second son who is now 1 year old, and my oldest is a dream kid. He's 4 and so smart. Leon co-parents as well. He's adamant that him and Jackie never did anything, which I kind of believe. She is way older than him and not his type. But, and he still talks to her on occasion, which I hate. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. But whatever, I'm happy, and they will get their karma. That is absolutely
Okay,
right,
good.
man.
I was wondering if you were still with this man or not with
Oh,
the way
no,
you were
no.
talking about him.
She's gone. Out of there as soon as she could. Good job, Alexia. Oh my gosh.